Take a flashback to the early 2000s and today's second look, 40k flashback at the Eye of Terror and what's going on now in the Gathering Storm. Spiking bits. Alright, welcome back, Hobby Maniacs. Rob Baer with you once again today. This is kind of part 40k flashback, part 40k theories, I guess, and a little bit there. Now, we all know that the Gathering Storm's coming out. Cadia has cracked in half. Cadia broke long before the Guard did. But the things that led up to this were kind of a little bit foreshadowed in some of the older books from back in the day, from the Eye of Terror Codex, which pretty much is completely invalidated at this point, to what's happening in the Gathering Storm right now, to the Storm of Iron kind of novel that was written by Graham McNeil. There's a couple of things in here that actually happened in the Cadian system, believe it or not, and the Chaos Space Marine 3.5 edition codex as well. But real quick, I wanted to show you a couple of things. This is a Eye of Terror poster, actually. They came in the White Dwarf from that time period. I think it was 2003, actually. Oh man, wish I could zoom out. Let's take a look. How far can we get? Good enough. Alright. So here is the poster itself. Obviously, it's a little bit larger than the camera viewfinder there. It's a standard poster size. So it basically highlights, this was meant to be kind of like a mini campaign map for the Eye of Terror campaign, which you could report on the website. So it has like kind of the major systems or subsystems of where there was activity. Up here you see Caliban, or the ruins of Caliban, because obviously it broke apart under bombardment during the Horus Heresy many years ago. And then you got the Medusan subsector, of course, where the Iron Hands are from. Not much talking about that one. And Succulus, not so sure what that is. Sicarius, not clear on that one. Thracian, Chinkere, Hydra Cordalis. This actually is going to come into play here. This is a collection of blighted worlds that have remained quarantined for many centuries following the discovery of Xenos artifacts buried beneath their surface. It is suspected that they may be similar in nature to the monolithic black pylons found on Cadia. An Imperial Fist vessel, Justus Fidelis, listed as missing following a failure to arrive at Hydra following a warp jump from Hydra Cordalis. Now, this is actually the site of two major battles, one during the Horus Heresy, one after the Horus Heresy, in the Storm of Iron book, which is a very iconic book from way back in the day. One of the earliest Black Library books they put out. It was hugely successful. It's enjoyed a number of printings as well. Oh, just found some pictures inside of that. Interesting. I've had it a while. You can see the sunburns on it. I think this one is, what is this? Oh, it's actually signed by Graham. I think I got that at Adepticon one year. 2002. So this was the first one. I still have my original Storm of Iron book, and Mr. McNeil has signed it. He has since moved on. He does have contract work with them, but he works for Blizzard now. And then there's Cadia and the Eye of Terror, kind of going around to a bunch of different subsectors right here. Actually, in there, of course, is Cadia. Here's Agrippina, Bellis Corona, and some other planets that aren't really. Oh, yeah, actually, Belial 4 is actually the place that they retreat to from Cadia. They retreat to Belial 4. That's where Abaddon and them get ambushed, and Celestine and her crusade jump through the webway. Belial 4 was actually an old Chrome world, one of the early Eldar homeworlds. It was paroled towards Eye of Terror during the fall, and is now known as Chrome World, deserted and abandoned. It is home to a sacred Eldar artifact of black crystal, a crystal sword forged from the energies of death. What's that sound like? Could be something to do with the Ynnead, I suppose. I wonder if that's why they're there on that planet, or inside that webway gate. So lots of clues kind of starting to come into play here from something from as far back as 2002. You know what I mean? So lots of different things. Obviously there wasn't too many clues in the Storm of Iron novel, but it definitely pertains to what's happening in the Eye of Terror, what has happened in the Eye of Terror that we have seen in the past. Now, if we open up the Eye of Terror book, this is a very small supplement. We showed this to you here before in the past, but there is a similar, let's zoom in a little bit on that. There is a similar map in here to the poster. Remember, the poster was kind of included in the White Dwarf for use kind of as a campaign thing. Now, as far as the fluff goes, there was this big thing where Eldrad splintered his psyche into multiple gemstones, or I think they call them cedar stones at the time, and little strike forces, all-play strike forces, the Black Guardians, could carry them and use them to jump kind of guided through warp portals instead of needing like a wraith, a whole like wraith construct. They could just boop boop and just kind of pop out of nowhere, kind of like what the Dark Eldar do. And then Eldrad actually tried to download his psyche into one of the Blackstone fortresses, which was actually inhabited by a demonic entity of Slaanesh and was devoured. And supposedly Eldrad died during this campaign, but of course we all know that to not be true. It's kind of been unwritten in the whole, canon kind of type thing. So, but there's a lot of things, like I said, we could still glean from what's happening here, like Ultimate Craft World, for instance, supposedly are in that area. Belial 4, we already talked about that. There's some of the stuff that's happening right there. And remember, there's all sorts of other craziness popping off in here too, like Hydra Cordalis, one of the Sentinel worlds, or in that area there. That was where the Storm of Iron novel took place. So if you take kind of what happened before with Eldrad being devoured by a Slaaneshi entity in the Blackstone Fortress, you kind of get an idea or kind of get a sense of what might have happened kind of with him currently. Like, we know if you look at the icon on the Incarnate of Ynnead, that is Eldrad's personal staff. That's his rune. That is his staff of Ulthan, whatever it's called. And now it has an infinity symbol over it. So I'm almost wondering, and here's your main protagonist of what popped off in the Eye of Terror campaign. Now, of course, we haven't seen these guys quite get on the scene yet, but I'm sure we'll see more stuff here in the near future. Now, there's Eldrad, obviously a major player. Ahriman, well, he's done some stuff. He did some things, and then of course the Avatar. But now we know we have an Avatar of Ynnead. So, has Eldrad in fact been put on trial on Beltan? Remember, those are the militant wing of the Eldar. Apparently got put on trial for misleading the manifest dynasty of the Eldar race, and something happens. Remember, the Beltan have the court of the young king, and that was actually an army list you could play in here. I think, was it in here? Maybe that was the Ultimate Strike Force. That was the Black Guardians, which we know are coming back as well. But they used to have an army list called the Court of the Young King. That might have been, yep, I think that was in the old Eldar Craft Worlds Codex around this time, 3rd edition, right? But what that did was it basically revolved around having one of each aspect, and then also having the Avatar. Because that's basically what Beltan is, when the psychic resonance of going to war, and like the war thrums and the war thrones of the Eldar people, like when they know they're going to war, they pick what they call a young king, and he steps in, to the chamber, and eventually, molten lava transforms him, is shipped into there, and all the spirits, mumbo jumbo, and Craft World Wraithbone transform this guy into the Avatar, and that's who emerges. So I'm almost wondering. Now, this is complete theory. So how did we get from, we know Eldrad is being on trial, is put on trial on the Beltan Craft World. And then all of a sudden the Beltan Craft World, quite literally, I'm trying to find that page with Eldrad, I can't seem to find it anymore, quite literally breaks apart, quite literally fractures based on what Warhammer TV said, and we get in its place the Avatar of Ynnead. So how do we get from there, Eldrad on trial, to Beltan Craft World literally breaking apart and this Avatar of Ynnead appearing? Well, I don't know. Did Eldrad go inside the chamber, the Avatar chamber, and absorb all that war calling? Was there some sort of manipulation? Hard to say. Very unclear. Did Slaanesh tamper with the whole thing from the get-go? Remember, Eldrad was trying to free or was trying to summon Ynnead, or a sort of Ynnead, on that one moon when he was stopped by Artemis in the Death Watch. But it didn't go as planned, and supposedly a spark of essence, drifted to Komora, and, went inside that one chick that was disguised as a succubus, who actually had just mortally stabbed or been mortally stabbed by Lilith, Hellsprex. So it's like, what is going on? There's so many of these little plot twists and things just kind of like these strings just kind of coming together out of nowhere. And now we have, you know, all of these just different things. And of course, we have the Visarch too. So where did he come from? Is he one of the original, you know, Eldar aspect leaders? Like, is he Aura? Is he Drazar? Like, who are technically the same person? It's really hard to say at this point, because apparently he was on the Dark Eldar Kamra and spirited away Yvraine to safety. So we got a lot of things going on that we can infer from what we've been told by Warhammer and what we saw in the White Dwarf at this point. So there's a lot of things still to be revealed, and I'm just kind of playing it middle of the road with some of my theories there, but it seems like a lot of this, you know, Eldrad was taken over by Slaanesh in the old campaign. What if that happened again, you know, with this whole like summoning thing, like Eldrad runs into the thing and, hey, guess what, Slaanesh has been on to you the whole time, because that incarnate kind of looks like a little demonic, a little Slaanesh. He's got a booby, you know what I'm saying? But it's really hard to tell at this point, but it's engrossing. It's like the ultimate whodunit. It's like the ultimate murder mystery, you know, kind of type thing. So it's really exciting, and I've been combing over all my old books and just kind of going through and discovering things. Like, I didn't even know I had this poster, you know. So it was really neat little stuff to see here, and just kind of pulling it all together there. And this great novel. If you haven't read Storm of Iron yet, you really need to. It's a fantastic book by Graham McNeil from back in the day. It features the Imperial Fist versus the Iron Warriors, doing some stuff that Iron Warriors don't normally do. So that's it for this one. Thank you all for hanging in there with a little bit of flashback, a little bit of 40k theories. Aliens. I said it was aliens. That's it for this one. Leave your comments below and what you think it just might be.
Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.